Welcome to the 2025 Property Report podcast by Property Guru. In today's episode, we're exploring a fascinating shift, how real estate is evolving beyond just a place to live or work. From wellness skyscrapers to green urban sanctuaries, buildings and neighborhoods are now being designed to help us feel better, move better, and ultimately live better. Joining us today is Kristen Thornstein, Head of Development for France and Turkey at IHG and a speaker at the Property Guru Asia Real Estate Summit. Kristen, thank you so much for being here and great seeing you.
Thank you, Tina. It's always a pleasure.
Let's dive right into it. Kristen, what would you say are the key elements that define a building or neighborhood that actively supports well-being?
Yes, I think if I were to boil it down to one sentence, it is that it's a building that isn't only functional, doesn't only respond to our basic need, but a building that actually enhances our quality of life. And to get there are various ways. There is a focus on human-centric design, so maximize natural light where possible, beware of acoustics, ventilation, and ergonomics. Access to nature, not an easy thing in big Asian cities, but where possible, give the inhabitants access to green spaces, rooftop gardens, or being close to parks. It's also about focusing on mobility and connectivity, being in a walkable neighborhood, create shading from rain and sun where possible, cycling routes, and obviously connectivity to public transport. We also see focus on, I guess I could call it social infrastructure. So community centers, places for people to gather. Even we are seeing developers include co-working centers or workspaces within their developments, which facilitates, getting to know your neighbor. Then there obviously focus on air and water quality, put in place measures to make sure these things are in order. And then I would say, last but not least, inclusivity and accessibility. Make sure that everybody thrives in the building, irrespective of age, physical ability, race, or income level. So I would say these are the things that define a building that actively supports the well-being of the people who live there.
That holistic view really is becoming a cornerstone of modern development. Wellness-focused projects are popping up everywhere. What innovations in design, tech, or materials are really leading the charge right now?
I would say that the most exciting innovations in the space are actually invisible. It's on the tech side. It's sensors that optimize comfort in real time, materials that can even clean the air, or we're also seeing AI that learns from the behavior of the occupants to improve the space that they live in. It is, we are really at the beginning of this, but what we are seeing today is smart building systems. Now there's been a lot of trial and error on that end, but we are starting to see efficient systems that monitor air quality, temperature, occupancy, and noise. But then there's also a big part where regulation comes in. So certification, ESG metrics. This is really something that pushes the developers to focus on innovations to enhance the well-being. And we are also starting to see the use of sustainable materials, low carbon concrete, paint that isn't toxic, bioplastics, and also recycled components. So there are two components to it, but not something that would spring to the eyes of the occupants. Is mostly woven into the construction and the design. using technology to learn from the behavior and adapt accordingly.
Incredible. And of course, we can't talk about well-being without mentioning green spaces. Biophilic designs has such a strong link to mental health, but in dense cities, how do we realistically integrate more of these natural elements?
Yeah, it's true. In especially Asian megacities, it's not easy to provide a park, for every building. Then I think it's mostly about rethinking underused space and layering nature into the built environment. So there are various ways to do that. One is vertical greening, so using living walls or rooftop gardens or rooftop forests even to create green facades. Pocket parks, so micro parks that are tucked into corners, medians, and also rooftops. And then I would also say that using corridors, walkways, and paths, greening those is also a way to getting the green into the built-in environment.
Looking ahead, as the real estate industry continues to evolve, what role do you think it will play in shaping your communities?
I would say that real estate and the built environment is both the, I would say, the stage and the catalyst for healthier living. So, like I said in the beginning, so buildings have to actively support health, both physical and mental well-being in their design. And then it becomes a question of going beyond just the ROI in terms of short-term profitability. We need to take into account as well the social return. You could look at the HDB program in Singapore. That's one example of that, where I would say the government of Singapore has foregone short-term profitability to create long-term, for the sake of long-term nation building. That's one example of it. And then I would say, last but not least, continue to use technology and data-driven urban planning to guide developers in achieving this. Developers are not just building buildings; they are placemakers, and I would say also health enablers. So this is an added responsibility to developers, but I would say the rewards to society as a whole are tremendous.
Kristen, thank you so much for sharing your insights. It's been such a rich conversation. Now, if you found today's conversation valuable, be sure to stay with us for more episodes. For deeper insights, visit AsiaRealEstateSummit.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next episode.